Live. It's Caroline Stevens seeking the truth. And in our studios in the East Midlands today, I've got the pleasure of introducing you to Eric Heaps. We've already done part one and part two. I'm not quite sure how many parts we're going to do because we could go on probably all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we're talking about court corruption, insurance corruption, the Lisbon Treaty, actually, which is where we've sort of got together, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's basically all. People really do not realise the effect that the Lisbon Treaty has got. Like we said in part one, just on that little paragraph. We already know, well, someone as deep into this, like I am, or some of the abuse victims, we know that Lisbon Treaty is ripe. To the point now where your police and your courts and they do it complicit and they just don't even try to hide it anymore. They just literally do not even try to hide it. I mean, it's like that case with J Report in part one.
And that's a child abuse case in 1,600 cases in Rotherham.
When they went up to the woman who were doing the J Report and the police actually pulled up to her, a government official, and said, well, wouldn't it be funny if a certain ethnic group know where you were living? I mean, I think that's just a clear death threat, to be honest.
Well, it's divide and conquer, isn't it? And it's shutting down free speech. It's shutting down justice.
Well, it's anything, because if you go, it clearly says if it goes against the EU, then they can take over the law. So then you go back to all these. So like if you went out and you did a crime, and that crime warrants a 4-year sentence, you'll get 6 years. But yet a rape abuser, most of the time nowadays, even gets off. I mean, I've got images, screenshots of newspapers. One Bobby got done with 10,000 indecent images, 6,000 of the worst kind. The worst kind category means under 6 months old, and they walked out of court.
Is that justice?
No, there is no justice, because the only justice we have got is to get out of EU, because that Lisbon Treaty, whatever they want to turn that round to, they turn it round to, and if it's against the EU, they can then use the law to shut you up, which is basically what the Supreme Court. It's going against EU, so they then can take over the law and alter it to whatever they want it to. It's just saying there's no difference. And like I say, it doesn't matter whether you're an abuse victim or whether you're speaking out about abuse, you are going against the EU. It doesn't matter free speech, even free speech, you're going against the EU. This is why they want to stop it on. People aren't understanding the importance of that paragraph in the Lisbon Treaty. It takes over all your courts when they want to step in and say, we don't like this.
So how do you, what could you say to the Remain people who voted Remain and still ardent Remainers? How can you say to them, what is it, you said that the EU brought us peace, the EU brought us equality.
No, they aren't. They have brought, you shut up and do as you're told, or this is what happens. That is what they brought. And I'm not being funny against Remainers. I understand they wanted to campaign. I understand all that they want to campaign to keep us in because they've been told it's good. What I will say is, go into these areas where rape victims are and ask these rape victims, why so many people so interested in everything what's going off?
Yeah.
And how is what you say or what you do more harmful than what is happening with these kids? Like I pointed out earlier on in part two, if you've got 1,600 children just in Northern area, and they are raped by 30 men, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, how many rapes are you looking at? Millions. That's just in Northern. Then you've got Rochdale, Manchester, all these areas, every single area. And you're soon to realise the amount of mass sexual exploitation going on to kids under the age of 13. It is unreal. I mean, I've got a woman stopping at my house, what's actually come over from Africa. We've actually over from South Africa. White farmers getting killed all here. People don't realise I've been following this for 5 years now with South Africans. I've had to fetch a lady over from South Africa because this government will not give her asylum. No government will take on what's doing because it actually shows the fact that we are only 3 years behind this country. 3 years behind this country.
What do you mean?
in what's happening, what's gone off over there, or last 5 years.
Right, I
what's
see,
gone
I
on
see.
over
Right,
there.
so yeah, so what we should be looking at, what's happening
Yeah.
in South
If
Africa?
you look 5 years ago, they lost all their arms and lost right to defend themselves on their own lands. And then you look to change the law, you weren't allowed to say things, you had to be politically correct. Now it's gone to a point where they're just going out and they're not just raping these victims or killing these people. This woman's she's telling me that she's actually got videos where friends have been like tied to chairs. They tied a young lass, a 5-year-old, to a table
In South
in
Africa.
South Africa. Raped
She's
the
white,
lass,
is she?
yeah, raped this lass 30 times till she was nearly died. She was nearly dead. Cut parents' eyelids off so they could not close their eyes. Do you see what I'm saying? They're not your normal hooligans or your normal murderers. They are literally torturing them.
And who are the people behind this then?
The same people is what behind you. If you go and you look, let me tell you, you look what's going off in Africa, Africa, you look what's going off in America, you look what's going off in Germany, you look what's going off in France, you look what's going off in America, especially America. America, I've watched everything on America, all Congress and law, and literally it's like watching Emmerdale Farm and EastEnders. Literally, if something happens in EastEnders, it's going to happen in Emmerdale Farm. It's just totally different way and different characters. Exactly the same way. They've been after Trump since 2016 for impeachment and Brexit. Why? Because they don't want Trump exposing deep state, which all comes from EU. They say follow White Rabbit. Now, a lot of people don't understand this when they say follow White Rabbit. That means England. If you look at England on the world map, it's a rabbit. It all leads back to our monarchs. Every bit leads back to our monarchs and to Rothschild families and Illuminati. That is all it is. And
of course, the Queen is
the head of the monarch, which is false monarch, because in 1951, the Stone of Destiny got sent back up to Scotland, and a fake one was sent down. So if she was crowned on the fake Stone of Destiny, she's not even queen.
Also, she's allegedly the illegitimate child of Winston Churchill.
Well, supposedly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got photos. Queen Mother and Hitler learning to do Hitler in back at Palace.
Oh yeah, wasn't that it was in the mainstream eventually, wasn't it?
Yeah, I suppose
it's all really.
Yeah. Most of the stories come from me. I've got that many people follow me from news sources, not your fake news on telly, but from normal news sources. I've got that many people follow me. And because of what I did in all groups, and I was the main supplier of all the information across all the 362 groups, how we did it, well, if you type into YouTube, you can't find out in YouTube. But when they start watching you, your phone's on all the time, your microphone's on all the time. So I don't search for anything. I talk about things with certain people. Then my phone automatically goes into search and advertise program brings me up a program what I've been looking for. Because if you try to search for it, it's put to the bottom. But if you let them search for it, it's put to the top.
Amazing. So where do we go from here then?
Well, to be honest, I mean, it's not just the fact that they've locked my son up and put my son in prison for 9 years, him and his mate, with no evidence whatsoever, no jury, no court, nothing, no barristers, no legal representation whatsoever. They actually go after you and destroy your life.
How often do you get to see your son?
I won't see him once every month because his mum goes and his kids go. But every month when I go, if I book a visit, like I've got a visit next week, I guarantee you the week after, he will have no canteen and no wages put in his account. So he can't order note to keep him going in prison. And that is just so the fact that he has to borrow so he gets in trouble for not paying it. In prison, it doesn't work. It doesn't work on how much. When you're in prison, it doesn't work on how much you owe. It's the principle. So it doesn't matter whether it's 50 pence or £10. They will stab you for that. I got a phone call on my thing from my son where he stood, and I've even got emails I sent to BBC, ITV, Calendar, with his phone, with this video call from my son, telling me that him and his mate had stand back to back in this prison in Doncaster because they was all stabbing each other up in the outer building, which is all the prison is run by kids. I tell you, run by kids, 18 and 19-year-olds what have got about 3 stone between them, or women what about 5'2" and about 18 stone. They're not run by people like what should be run in prisons. And they were stabbing each other, and one kid got stabbed through chest, and it was that long it came out through his back. We're not on about shanks, we're on about spears in prisons. And they just hacked each other to bits. One of the lads was stood at the gate screaming to God while his other kid went up and slit him from ear to ear. These people never even went, they were not even documented as going to any hospital, because we rung up and checked. We rung the BBC News, we rung the Calendar News, we rung Channel 4 News, played them to turn around, not to do with that now. What do you mean not to do with your district? People are getting murdered in prison. They're carrying knives around in prison and shanked, like spears. What do you mean not to do with 40 people that day, all should have gone to hospital, but they were all kept in this prison, in hospital, and treated in prison in the hospital. All shush. You think the police have been solving crimes for all these years? Let me tell you something about your police solving crimes. Remember last time any of you who had a burglary had somebody come out to investigate your house and what's been taken? They don't. So how can they get a criminal to admit to a case when there's no evidence? Because they all get solved. Because kid goes to prison and then taken his TIC, he gets one charge and he gets 50 TICs or
What's a TIC?
taken into consideration. So what they do is they say to this kid, right, you've been found guilty for this one, but if you accept these other 50, we'll have a word with the judge and we get you a letter sentence. So even though he's admitted these 50, he hasn't done them. He's admitted them to get yourself a deal in court to get out. Or they go to prison and they take kids out. Come on, we'll take you around these houses. You done that burglary, you done that burglary, you done that burglary. Yeah. McDonald's, get him a McDonald's, buy a box of fags, back up to prison. Job done. 200 grand, wrote off in one morning. Simple as that. But if you look into these crimes, these burglary crimes, these car crimes, and you have a look at when these crimes were committed, I guarantee you, half the time the kid were in prison. He's just done them a favour by writing it off. It's just a big mess, absolute big mess. The legal system in this country is non-existent and never has been. Never. I mean, what people don't understand now is what they've done, basically, with my son, and most of the cases they've done in Rotherham and other places, is my question is what law system can you ever have again? Because when it all comes out and all corruption comes out, they can't take you to court for doing a crime because you can say, well, hold on, we know you're covered murders up. We know you've planted stuff on this. We know you've planted stuff on that. So how can law ever stand again in this country? It can't.
Because they can't stand in judgment of us. Because,
No.
I mean, they reckon
they can't even give evidence against you, because all that evidence they have given over the last 10 years, we know is all false. So, and they've covered murders up. They've done murders. Let's face it, they have. They've covered murders up. They've done murders. They've got rid of people. They put people in prison. They put people in nut houses. So how can you tell? They've made false evidence up, false CCTV up, so fake news up. So how can you tell somebody in a court of law beyond reasonable doubt that evidence you have now got in front of them is real? You can't, because they can't prove it's real anymore. They've got no law system anymore. They have broke the law system, not us. They have thrown it all away.
Well, I mean, so many court cases are rigged from the start.
Yeah, 90%. I mean, 88,000 OAPs kicked off the street last year. Now, one thing I did is I come out on my Facebook group. Simple reason is because I found that they were targeting people through groups. Having people in these groups paid for by which certain people paid for to run far right groups, mentioning no names, but paid certain people. Now these people go out and they collect people as followers. That information then gets passed on to social security and a team. If you're on social security, you get the benefits stopped and forced onto the street because you can't pay your council tax, you can't pay your rent. They cut your benefits down.
Sorry, this isn't to do with following a far right person.
This is how they do it. Certain far right people are out there on purpose, getting followers on purpose, knowing full well that is going to certain companies, and these companies are getting people sacked from the jobs. get them thrown off DSSS, ESA, Universal Credit, PIP, and then these people are then thrown to streets. 88,000 OAPs this year alone have been thrown on the street for being patriots. 88,000.
On that point, we're coming up to the 20-minute mark, I think, potentially. So that is a huge topic, and I think it would be of a wider interest. So we'll keep that as a separate section, because I'm very concerned about these e-petitions, for example, that go around Facebook. And I keep saying there's no point, because it's just a data harvesting exercise.
Yeah, it is.
So on that note, Eric, thank you so much. This is the end of part 3 of Caroline Chats with Eric Heaps. And it's Caroline Stevens, Seeking the Truth, also been live on Facebook and YouTube channel. This video footage will be shown on YouTube and backed up. And please do back it up at home as well, because this is dynamite stuff. Take care. I'll see you again for part 4, and so will Eric. You'll stay, won't you?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. See you again soon. Goodbye for now.